Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacqueline and today we're delving into something quintessentially English, the Cotswolds countryside style. Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to shine a spotlight on English country style and more specifically a Cotswold style because I've seen it popping up a lot for me recently. Probably because the season of cottagecore is upon us. Well, not really in the UK, but theoretically the season of cottagecore is here. And a lot of that Pinterest inspo is taken in the Cotswolds. I'll leave my cottagecore video somewhere here because it does differ from English country style. Cottage homes and country homes here in the UK are slightly different from one another. I was actually watching one of Desi's videos over on her Darling Desi channel and she actually said that she's moving to the Cotswolds, so I took it as a sign to make this video. What's funny to me is the hysteria surrounding the English countryside, Cotswolds, cottagecore and such. It's just that classic case of when you live somewhere you don't fully appreciate it, I guess. What's fascinating to others is just everyday to me. And just to give you some background, I live in Scotland now and I've never personally lived in the Cotswolds, but I visited there, been to Bath many times, and my cousins live in that area too, so I am familiar with it. Or maybe you're new, so I just want to welcome you to the channel. We talk about interior design, home decor, art, graphic design, and even architecture. So if any of those things interest you, feel free to stick around. Now, for our friends who are based outside of the UK and have heard of the Cotswolds but aren't too sure where it is or what it is, let's just clear that up. It's a region in southwest England and encompasses the counties of Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire, Wiltshire, Somerset, Worcestershire and Warwickshire. So the Cotswolds isn't just one place and it's classed as an area of outstanding natural beauty. There's other places like that in the UK and they are designated areas for conservation due to their significant landscape value. What I could compare it to, I guess, is the Adirondacks or the Catskills, and I'm sure you'll know many more. And I just want to say, which is a side note really, but there are other places to see the countryside in the UK, just in case you were wondering. Cambridgeshire is really pretty and historic. Yorkshire has amazing landscapes. If you want the coastal aspect, there's Cornwall, Devon and Norfolk. And obviously there's Scotland, but don't get me started on that because I will not stop. I grew up in Hertfordshire, which is another beautiful countryside place, and for those Jane Austen fans out there, yes, that's where Pride and Prejudice is set, and there are many towns like Meryton, and the landscape definitely matches the movies as well. Nonetheless, we are talking about the Cotswolds today. And the reason why so many people adore this countryside locality is because of the honey-toned buildings found there, which are made from limestone indigenous to the region. Picture yourself crossing the threshold of a centuries-old cottage where every corner tells a story and every beam bears witness to the passage of time. Welcome to the Cotswolds. Rolling hills stretch as far as the eye can see, cloaked in a patchwork quilt of emerald green fields and golden meadows. The Cotswolds interior design style captures the essence of rural charm and timeless elegance, blending heritage with contemporary comforts in perfect harmony. And you'll find that they're often more refined, sophisticated and curated compared to English cottages. The Cotswolds is a perfect style for those of you who love cottage interiors or cottagecore interiors for that matter, but are looking for something a little bit more modern. Now don't misunderstand me, they still very much have a country feel about them, but cottage interiors are more rustic, aged and unrefined, shall we say. The Cotswold style emerged during the 16th century and flourished during the 17th century. We have a whole video delving into the architecture and history of English cottage architectural styles, so I'm not going to talk about Cotswolds architecture too much in this video. You may have recognised this style in the US because it's a subtype of the Tudor Revival style. They never look authentic or real to me and more like a set design at Disney World, but hey, I think it's much better to build something new that looks historic than knock down a beautiful historic building in order to build something new. But I will cover the interior architecture basics found in any Cotswolds home. Depending on the shape of the roof, there are usually thick wooden A-frame beams. These beams, often made from oak, provide structural support and add character to the interior spaces. They're typically visible in ceilings, especially in older properties. Unique to the Cotswolds are also the types of windows. Windows set in stone mullions are also a common feature and create a historic aesthetic in interior spaces. More specifically, they're known as king mullions with 4 or more lights, but you don't really need to know that. Stone is a material that can unfortunately retain cold just as well as it can retain heat, and with that, 2 or more fireplaces find their home in these spaces. Inglenook fireplaces are large recesses in the wall featuring a fireplace, always expansive and usually dominate the living space. Okay, so I'm a relatively short person, I'm 5'3", and even I struggle to stand up in English cottages, which you may not know if you haven't visited one yourself, but unless they're newer builds, the ceilings in these types of homes are very low. This is due to material availability. We don't exactly have tall red cedars in that location. Lower ceilings also allowed for greater heat retention, which was obviously crucial. And apparently people were also shorter during that period too, apparently. But if you didn't know that and you're tall and you were planning on booking an English break to a Cotswolds cottage, or any cottage for that matter, I would recommend booking a hotel instead. Original Cotswolds cottages often have low ceilings, which add to their intimate and snug atmosphere. The low ceilings help to retain heat and create a sense of intimacy in the living spaces, And believe it or not, some cottages to this day rely solely on a fireplace heating system. Newer country homes that have been built in the Cotswold style of course have taller ceiling heights and are usually heated by radiators. So there are options if a low ceiling height is a no-go for you. Characterised by natural textures, muted tones, and understated luxury, the Cotswolds interiors reflect its pastoral beauty. Perhaps you're not sure if you prefer Cotswold style or classic cottagecore style, and I think the colour palette is where you can really see the difference. If you're a lover of cottage interiors, I think of neutrals alongside feminine pastel tones. Whereas Cotswolds Country is certainly a lot beiger and warm, and if you love beige, this is your style. The colour scheme is characterised by soft neutrals, earthy tones and warm accents, creating a harmonious and inviting atmosphere that's timeless. Shades to include are a golden Cotswold beige, chamomile, Dijon yellow, sage green, chestnut brown, dusky blues, mushroom grey, rust orange and mauve. Within the interior, usually wallpaper and plaster are sparse, and instead the natural Cotswold stone features. And often left in their natural state, or they're lightly washed, the stone walls are iconic. Alongside the walls, believe it or not, the flooring is also stone. More specifically, flagstone flooring. It made its way indoors around the 13th century, predominantly inside the castles of the Anglo-Saxons. They're cut into irregular shapes and sizes, giving each piece a unique character. The natural variations in colour, texture and pattern contribute to the distinctive look of Cotswold flagstone. Unlike cottagecore, the Cotswolds interior is much simpler when speaking of patterns. Now and again you'll see bold print curtains for a statement, but it's not really the level of cottage chintz patterns. So my recommendation is to choose patterns that actually blend with the colour palette, or you can choose just one or two vibrant tones that stand out but don't go too overboard with those. Gingham, stripes, geometric shapes or floral prints usually feature. However, I would say not a combination of all of those. Creating that English countryside atmosphere becomes a lot easier once you start to add furniture to the design. When selecting furniture, choose pieces that are natural, that's going to be oak usually, pieces that aren't ultra modern but are also not too primitive. Somewhere in between is going to create the perfect ensemble. And some ideas for you are Chesterfield sofas or armchairs, large-scale ottomans, Windsor chairs, fabric buttoned wing-back chairs, French-style coffee tables, dining tables with a bench, oak sideboards, English roll-arm sofas, upholstered beds with nail-head trims, and a large two-toned kitchen hutch, or display cabinets. Lighting is the perfect way to create a classic countryside look or modernise your space instead. However, in modern recreations, people often implement skylights to maximise on the daylight. Modern glass extensions are also added when permitted, and they obviously soak in the beautiful surrounding English gardens too. In both examples, you can see how the usually dark and dingy cottage interior has been lit up through natural light strategies. As I already mentioned, these interiors are warm to the core, so you're going to want to choose a light bulb with a lower Kelvin. No ice white lights here. Table lamps with ceramic bases in soft muted colours are a perfect addition to the Cotswold interior. For the ceiling, I love lampshade chandeliers or a rigid glass fitting for a more modern approach. Candles are an essential element of Cotswold design style, adding warmth and ambiance to any room. Place candles in modern square glass lanterns. These remind me a lot of the Cotswold style, simply because I've seen so many in countryside interiors and gardens. I think the home decor accessories are where you're going to see the cottage and country comparison the most, because usually with cottage interiors, the home decor pieces are either antique or vintage. Cotswolds keeps that countryside feel whilst modernising interior elements like glass candlesticks, wooden trays, Wedgwood style ceramic ware, convex mirrors, ceramic vases, linen accessories, Roman numeral clocks, hammered copper accents, brass for a more modern look, woven baskets and chests, bronze statues, woven grocery bags, wooden serving boards, farmhouse-style jugs, a hen-on nest, large white candles, wood for the fireplace, and I thought I'd throw this in for fun, vintage style appliances. In the enchanting world of the Cotswold design style, plants and flowers play a vital role in bringing the natural beauty of the countryside indoors. And I know I said earlier that you're not going to find pastel tones in these interiors, but floral arrangements are the exception. Baby's breath and gorgeous hydrangeas within vases, whilst wisteria and lavender on the perimeter to complement the honey tones of the architecture. From quaint cottages to grand manor houses, floral arrangements and greenery adorn every corner, adding a touch of vibrancy and freshness to the space. The artwork for this style is where you get to incorporate those antique and rustic pieces. Antique maps of the local area, landscape painters like Constable, Cézanne and Turner are all excellent choices. Any art that paints a picture of the natural surrounding environment will only enhance the theme. It's not really a design feature, but books almost always feature on the coffee tables of Cotswold interiors. Books you may see there are Lark Rise to Candlefoot, which was also a BBC drama series, I'll have you know, and I loved it. At Home in the Cotswolds, Secret Houses of the Cotswolds, 21st Century Cotswolds, Country Life, At Home in the English Countryside, Cotswolds Gardens, The Cottage Kitchen, Farm from Home and Kinfolk Table. What do you guys prefer, a cottagecore interior or a Cotswolds country interior? Let me know down below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video or subscribe for more videos like this. And if you need help fulfilling your own design dreams, I've left our website in the description. I think that's it for today's video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!